go. Trust me.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another classic review. Today I'm taking a look at the 1981 classic Indiana Jones film Raiders of the Lost Ark. The film is of course directed by Steven Spielberg and it stars Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, Paul Freeman, John Rhys Davies, Denham Elliott and Ronald Lacey. Right, the film follows Indiana Jones, who is an archaeologist, an adventurer, and he is tasked with trying to recover the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis. So he heads off to try and stop the Nazis from acquiring the Ark of the Covenant, because if they get their hands on it, they would be unstoppable, the Nazis. I don't really, do I need to go into the story for this one? Everybody knows Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, I thought I would revisit the Indiana Jones films because with the new one coming out very, very shortly, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which I'll have to admit, initially I wasn't too excited about for a lot of different reasons. And when it comes around to me reviewing that film, I'll talk about them a little bit more then. But as it's getting closer and closer, I am getting more and more excited to see that film now. So I thought I would get into the mood by rewatching all the Indiana Jones films, all four that we've got so far, and cover them here on the channel. Now, Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, there are many of you who are watching this who might have only seen this for the first time on DVD or even Blu-ray. I went to the cinema to see this in 1981. At young ages, I have got fond memories of seeing a few things at the cinema when I was young. Star Wars, Superman the movie, and Raiders of the Lost Ark, three that stand out. Just being magical experiences in the cinema watching Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I went back multiple times to watch it. Such an incredible film. I can't describe really how it makes you feel watching this film for the first time on a big cinema screen, and being when this came out in the UK I would have been less than 10. So I mean, it was just incredible to watch. It was exciting, the adventure was amazing. I loved the Indiana Jones. It was scary, it was even a little bit risky with the gore and stuff like that. It was just everything, the stunts, explosions. It is one of those films that you can categorise as perfect. There are some movies out there that are, you know, faultless in my opinion, and this is one of them. You know, there are quite a few out there. If you want to, you know, list them in the comments what you think are perfect films that are 10 out of 10. This is certainly one for me, and I have reviewed a number of films on this channel that I have scored 10 out of 10 before, classic films especially, and this is quite simply perfect in my opinion. It's just such a wonderful film, such a wonderfully made film. It still looks fresh today. I've just rewatched it, and it's what I mean. The Indiana Jones films I watch semi-regular anyway, but I rewatched it for this review, and it's such a wonderful film to watch. It's effortless, you know, and it's aged like a fine wine. It still feels fresh and new. There's nothing aged poorly in it, in my opinion. Some of the stunts still blow your mind. It still manages to get you on the edge of your seat. It's funny, it's charming, it's got hugely memorable characters. The theme from John Williams, right up there with one of the greatest, you know, movie themes of all time. I mean, the Indiana Jones music, it's instantly recognisable anywhere in the world. You play it, and there's probably pretty much everybody's going to recognise the theme tune to Raiders of the Lost Ark or Indiana Jones. And Harrison Ford was born to play Indy. For me, this is his definitive role, Indy. Some people would say Han Solo, and as great as he is as Han Solo, I think Indiana Jones is his greatest character that he's portrayed on the screen. I mean, perfection in regards to casting. And it's funny as well when you actually consider that he wasn't cast as Indiana Jones. And you may or you may not know this, but Steven Spielberg and George Lucas initially wanted Tom Selleck, and there are you can find it on YouTube. There are clips of his audition, Tom Selleck, for Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they wanted him. They wanted to cast him. However, he had just committed to making Magnum PI, and the studio that was making Magnum wouldn't release him to make Indiana Jones, so he had to reluctantly step away from the part, and that's when Harrison Ford stepped in. Most of us would say thankfully. I mean, I am a big fan of Tom Selleck, and I think Tom Selleck actually probably would have been a fine Indiana Jones, but it's hard to imagine anybody else playing this character other than Harrison Ford, because he brings such charisma to this character. It's a fine line, I think, that he plays this character, because, you know, in one hand he's this educated archaeologist that's teaching at the university sort of thing, and then on the other hand is this rough and ready adventurer that can get into fistfights with anybody, and, you know, and it's just like, again, two sides of the same coin. I mean, such a fabulous character. Absolutely brilliant. And the casting here is perfect. I mean, Karen Allen as Marion. What a fantastic... And again, you hear this these days, oh, there's no good parts for women, you know, there's no strong female characters, so on and so forth. So they feel like they have to overwrite for women these days. They just don't. Look back at films like this with, you know, Karen Allen playing this Marion character with this edge and this feistiness, and, you know, she doesn't take no crap from nobody. You know, she's not a damsel in distress really in this film. She can really fend for herself, and she's such a great character. And then you've got Paul Freeman. It's a brilliant villain for Indiana Jones, as is the whole Nazi. I mean, it's an easy villain, isn't it? The Nazi army, really. It just works so well. And John Rhys Davies, who I'm looking forward to seeing return in the new Indiana Jones film with Salah. Fabulous. Great chemistry with Harrison Ford. And it's just breathless action, this film. You know what I mean? And Steven Spielberg, I think... I haven't done a top 10 of Steven Spielberg films yet on the channel. Maybe I will get round to doing that at some point. But there's no getting away from it. This will be so high on the list. I wouldn't like to go as far as say it's number one, because I'd like to analyse the rest of his filmography before I make that decision, but it ain't going to be far away. It really just isn't. It was very edgy for the time as well, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, quite gory, you know, guys getting shot in the head and you've seen the blood, and then the famous scene at the end, you know, with the melting faces and the exploding heads and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you just wouldn't get away with it these days, and certainly get away with a PG rating. So, yeah, it was very edgy stuff, certainly for the time. And I remember squirming in my seat more than once as a youngster watching this in the cinema. So, yeah. And the famous scene in Indiana Jones, you may or you may not know this, the sword fighting scene, you know, when he's in Cairo and that guy gets out the sword and is flipping it from hand to hand, and you're expecting this big fight scene to ensue, and Indy gets out his gun and just shoots him. That wasn't supposed to happen. Many of you will probably know this, but Harrison Ford in actual fact had food poisoning, so he couldn't do the fight scene, so they came up with this instead, and it's become legendary. It's become an iconic scene for Indiana Jones now, that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really say an awful lot more about Raiders of the Lost Ark. Incredible film. Fabulous film. I could go on praising it all day. It takes me right back to my childhood every time I see it. It's incredible. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please like the video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And of course, I'll be back with loads more content and reviews on the channel very, very soon.